Welcome to the McAllister Report. We join John McAllister, top football evaluator, as he shares wisdom and interviews coaches and athletes from around the country. Enjoy today's podcast.
This is John McAllister with the John McAllister Report. And today my guest is Emma Baratich from Pickerington Central High School. Emma is a senior and going to West Virginia University on a volleyball scholarship. Excited for her. And what I wanted to do today is pick her brain just about, she's going to give you advice about young volleyball players. She started, I think, in the fourth grade, maybe fourth or fifth grade, and then moved to sixth grade. She played club, I think, until sixth grade. Then they have a team, but she played at Pickerington Central, and I think she's really neat. She's 6'2". She's a very good athlete. So if you'll sit back and enjoy my video podcast with Emma Baratich from Pickerington Central High School and a West Virginia commit. Today I'm so excited. I have my second young female on here, woman, a senior at Pickerington Central High School, known for its football and volleyball the last couple of years. Emma Baratich is a 6'2" volleyball player committed to play at West Virginia University. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You don't have to go to school but half a day probably, huh?
Yeah, it's a little under half.
Well, that's good. That's good. Very, very first thing, Emma, I want to tell you, we've talked about it. Your mother was a student of mine in the 7th and 8th grade at Lakota High School. And how she got to Columbus, Ohio and Pickerington, I don't know, but that's good. Okay, I followed you through Facebook, and I thought it would really be neat to talk about a person going to a Power 5 school to play volleyball. Where did it all start for you, Emma? How did you start playing volleyball?
In the 3rd grade, I joined our community's rec league for volleyball. My mom was actually my coach, so she was definitely an influence at a young age. So I played in that rec league up until I was in about 6th grade, and then I joined a club team, which introduced me to a lot more of the game at a higher level than just the basic knowledge of volleyball. And then I've played club volleyball ever since I think the 6th grade, and I've played for my school's team since the 7th grade as well.
Okay. That's club volleyball means it's not your school, and then plus the advantages, and we'll talk about it later. The advantages, you play all over the country, or all over the Midwest or whatever. I mean, it's like that, and it's important. Okay, when did you make the stretch then? I know your mother is not 6'2". Okay,
Oh.
when did you all of a sudden make that stretch?
Yeah, my dad is 6'9", so I definitely got my height from him. I've just always been pretty tall, I guess, the tallest in my class. So I've just.
And you handle that. You walk tall, don't you?
Yeah.
But no, I'm not joking with you. So many people I know that are tall. By the way, as I remember, I think one of your aunts is kind of tall, isn't she?
Yeah, she's pretty tall.
On your mom's side. Your dad's 6'9". Okay, well, that's where it comes from then. That's really neat. And plus, you've taken advantage of it by playing volleyball.
Yeah.
That's super. Tell me, grades good in school?
Oh, yeah. I've definitely gotten a lot more invested in school over the past 3 years, or just over high school, trying to keep on top of grades. And I've definitely learned to keep myself more disciplined and staying on top of my grades. I don't have to like rely on my parents to do that anymore, which is definitely nice.
That's good. It's a business, isn't it? And you're also working part-time, I think.
Oh
That's
yeah.
good. That's really good. Now, so tell me, what's your schedule as far as practice in volleyball now?
So we practice about 3 nights a week. Usually it's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Our practices range from about 2.5 hours to 3 hours, and we have 2 nights a week included into those practices where we lift for an hour during the practice. So we do those, and then sometimes we'll have Sunday practices in the sand, which just tries to make us more mentally tough, I guess, and just improve our gameplay because you need to be able to just, it helps you with like jumping a lot. So we've incorporated some sand practices, even though we play indoor volleyball as well.
You know, the only sport I've coached in a little bit of track, and I coached some junior high basketball when I was really young. But I'm a football mental guy, and up here, I want to tell you, you talked about how about physically tough and mentally tough to play volleyball? Do you think you have to be physically tough?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I'm messing with you, okay? Why do you think you have to be physically tough?
It's just you're always doing something on the court, and it sometimes it's not even like your position, and you're always running around, and you have to be able to endure like playing for a long period of time. So it definitely helps being in shape, I guess, for that kind of thing.
Right. Then how about mentally tough?
Oh, the game is definitely, it definitely takes a toll on your mental health sometimes just because you're in really tough positions, like you're playing a really hard team and or you're really far down in on the scoreboard and you need to be able to come back from that. It's just you need to be mentally tough to be able to pull yourself out of tough situations.
Okay, good. Now I would tell you this. I kind of led you into that because I was watching a volleyball game, oh golly, 5 or 6 years ago, probably now. It happened to be Hopewell Loudon, and they were playing Lakota, where your mom's from. And I was watching, I was sitting with some people, and I think they were from Lakota, and a girl, I don't know what you call it anymore, a spike or whatever they're hit. I
Mhm.
mean, she's up on the net, you
Mhm.
know, and she hit this Lakota girl right in the face with the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
right here, right in the face with the ball. And the Lakota girl just went down. And she cried. She didn't scream, but she cried, got tears in her eyes, and finally got together and then got off, took her off. Probably 10 minutes later, she's back in the game.
Mhm.
And I told these people, I said, I've coached football a long time, and no Lakota boy ever got hit that hard and bounced back. I mean, you have to be physically tough too, don't you? And mentally.
Mhm.
I,
Yeah.
it's changed. Now, let's go. I want to do a couple different things. One of them is, what are your suggestions? Now, you're a senior, you're going on to school at West Virginia University. Uh, what are some of your suggestions for a fifth grader or a sixth grader right now to get ready to play volleyball? What should they be doing?
Honestly, you can do like the basic work and just try to get that down at a young age. It definitely helps out a lot. Um, so volleyball specifically, one of the main things you should be able to do is like pass and serve at a young age. That's how a lot of people typically start out. And we like to call it like just the fundamentals of volleyball. Being able to do those really well at a young age definitely helps out a lot as you progress through your volleyball career. So I
Okay.
definitely recommend that.
Okay. Serving and passing.
Mhm.
Okay. That's really good. And then the other things will come, I would suggest, right? Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to play for your school team. Now, what about the club sport of how how do young people handle that?
Um, so I started club when I was in the 6th grade. So I was I was old enough to understand that it was gonna be harder than typical, like, rec league volleyball.
Right.
So, I feel like even though you're at a young age, you need to mentally prepare yourself to want to try to get better, and just know that, like, when you're at the club level, people are actually trying to help you out and make you better, and you just need to trust the process and trust your coaches a lot because they're there to help you in the end, so it's definitely, like, you have to believe in yourself and believe in the coaches as well, and, yeah, I definitely would like to if I could go back and thank all of the people that, like, helped me during, like, my early stages of, like, my club season, I definitely would do that because I learned a lot from them.
All right. Okay, that's really good. I'm going to ask you, and then we're going to talk about you. Let's see, where are we here? About 10 minutes. Uh, let me ask you one more question on that. What if I told you that sometimes college coaches like athletes that haven't played volleyball that long as opposed to players that have played for like 8 years, 7 years? How would you respond to that?
I mean, I feel like it could depend on the situation. Like, I know people who, for instance, play on the same team as me who haven't been playing as long as me necessarily, but they're still like really good players. I feel like it does kind of depend on the person as a whole. Like,
Yeah,
some people are just really athletic from a young age, and so they don't need to play volleyball for that long to understand the game, or some people need to start out like me when they were in the 3rd grade to try to
right.
understand it and gain athleticism for the volleyball game. So, I
That's
don't
a good
know. It's
answer.
a good question.
No, you're right. And I think it all depends on the person. But sometimes I think people get caught up in any sport, playing it for so long, about the time they get to be 18, 19, they're bored or they're
Mhm.
tired. Just and then the athletes sometimes that have not done that, they're still going because they're still learning. But no, I just was curious, and that's a great answer. It's up to the person usually, isn't it? You haven't played any other sports to speak of, oh, have you? Have you played any other sports
Um,
or
the
dabbled in it?
last time I Yeah, I played a few when I was younger, like super young. I played soccer for a really long time. I think it was like 6 years.
Yeah.
So, that was probably my only other one, but I stopped playing soccer in like 5th grade.
Okay.
So,
Okay, tell me what a block touch is.
okay,
When they're
so
measuring you, when they're heights. I want to learn something here. What's a standing reach, and then what's a block touch?
oh, okay. So the standing reach is basically you're just standing on the ground and you try to reach like one of your arms up as high as you possibly can. And so it's basically like the top of your middle finger, how high that can touch. So just to basically get it's for college coaches to like understand how high you can reach in
Right.
certain situations where you can't jump.
Well, I just
And
learned some things.
yeah. And then similarly, the block touch, like, number is when you jump up without any, I guess, like, round up, and you're
Right.
just, like you just jump straight off the ground and see how high you can touch with, like, both hands up top.
Right.
So,
And what
yeah.
about the approach touch?
So, hitters, typically take a three-step approach with their feet to try to hit the ball, and it usually gives them more momentum to be able to jump higher. So, doing the three-step approach and then jumping is usually your highest number because that's more like gameplay numbers and how high you can jump on the court when you're actually in a game.
Okay, sounds good. That's really interesting. I used to run camps and combines for football. They put something like that in there. Okay, you made the decision to play volleyball. And we've talked about it, I think, playing volleyball. As you look back, what are the keys to your success as a volleyball player? What maybe three things are key? Now, yeah, go ahead and let's do that.
Okay. Definitely one of the things has been my coaching staff over the past however many years I've been playing.
Yeah.
I've had like school coaches, club coaches, I've had strength coaches, and I don't think any of them have ever said something to me that like didn't be better or encourage me and say that I could play at the next level. They've all just been so supportive of me, and I feel like
Yeah.
any good coaching staff definitely helped out. A second thing, probably I feel like I have a really good drive when it comes to volleyball. I've always just wanted to play at the top level and always just improve on my gameplay, which definitely helps. I'm wanting to learn more when I go to practices or when I go to my strength and conditioning lessons and just try to make myself better however I can.
Okay,
And
that's
then
really good. Tell me, is there one or two people that you really appreciate or that have driven you to be where you are?
Um, I would definitely say both of my parents, if I could put them into like one person, I would say they have been the most supportive of me throughout my entire volleyball career. Um, I also probably my strength coach, honestly. He's
Uh,
just been a really good mentor for me the past couple years.
I think it's really good, by the way, to interject there. I think it's
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Let me ask you this. This is one of my football questions. If you could trade places with somebody for one day, and it can be anybody, you trade places with one day, who would it be and why?
That's a good question.
You want me to
Um,
I can cut it out. You want me to? I'll come back to it. All right, go
yeah,
ahead.
you can come
Who?
back to that one.
Huh?
You
What's
can
that?
come back to that one.
Okay. Okay. Here's one more funny one. I have three silly questions. Here's the other
Mhm.
one. What talent would you most like to have?
Honestly, I feel like I would wanna be a really good track runner. I've always thought about that and just
Okay.
being able to run, because like, you need to be able to run in volleyball, but I feel like being able to run for fun is also a talent I would wanna have.
Okay. I just have a few more questions. Energy is huge, Emma, in sports. Energy, okay? What kind of energy are
Mhm.
you going to take to West Virginia University? What kind of energy will you bring to that team?
Oh,
Well,
I definitely have a lot. Um, I
all,
know me and my friend. Sorry, what was that?
go ahead. Go ahead. Let's start it again. What kind of energy will you bring to the team?
Okay. I definitely love cheering on my teammates. Just anything that they are doing well on, I get so excited for them. So cheering is definitely one of my strong suits. Um, honestly, like even in club season right now, I just scream at my friends just to like try to encourage them, make them better, get them excited for little things like practices. It actually makes me happy just trying to push my friends forward and my teammates forward and trying to get them to succeed.
Okay. Then, was there ever I call this the scrapbook time. As you graduate from high school now, or will graduate, is there any one or two moments where you said, oh man, that's a highlight of my career? Or you will get with your friends next year when you come back to Pick Central and you'll say, you remember that time? You remember that time? Was there ever a time like that for you, a scrapbook time?
Um, I do have one during my club season. Um, last year we got ninth place in the country for our team, which definitely was a moment to remember for me because we went into the tournament or like our final tournament not thinking that we were going to get that far based off of like years in the past. So just being ninth in the country is pretty surreal for our team, and it was really important to us just to like prove ourselves that we're actually like a really good team and that we played for each other that day. So that was probably one of my favorite moments in
Good.
volleyball.
You involve team in that.
Mhm.
Definitely that answer. Okay. What's your best quality as a person?
As a person, I would say I'm really driven. I'm always busy with something, whether it's school or volleyball or my part-time job. Like, I love staying busy and I love just doing stuff to make me a better, a well-rounded person, I guess. Just being able to do everything. Not like not being like able to do everything, but be able to like just yeah, I guess be more well-rounded in this.
When you go to West Virginia University, how do you want to be? How will I wanted you to kind of answer this with energy, but how are you going to try to contribute right away? What kind of, what's your mentality of going to West Virginia University?
Yeah, I definitely want to learn more when I get there and just be able to adapt to the new coaching staff. And I feel like just by listening to them and trusting the coaches, it'll honestly make me a better player right off the bat. And it's really important, like in little things like practices, just trying to compete with your other teammates, whether it's in the same position as you or different positions than you, just because it makes both of you guys better players in the end. And I feel like that'll definitely help just going in with not like a cocky competitive mentality, but in a competitive mentality to try to make you and the other players better. And it definitely helps out in the long run.
Okay, that's going to be some energy for you.
Mhm.
Emma, I really appreciate you doing this, okay? And it's kind
Yeah.
of fun and I learn a lot. And it's also, I think it's important that we have women getting more recognition in the sports world. I think it's huge. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much for having me and giving this opportunity to me. I really
Okay.
enjoyed it.